shall regret this betrayal.
She kicked an old woman by the roadside. And what happened next shocked the entire village. My people, gather around and pull your chair close. This story will make your mouth open and refuse to close. They say beauty can take you to the palace, but character is what keeps your crown on your head. Adana thought her fine face, hips, and new royal status made her untouchable. Until one wicked kick turned a blessing into a curse no doctor could cure. How did one careless kick turn a beautiful queen into a scratching animal in the house of God and shake the whole village? Stay with me, my warriors, and hear the terrible price she paid. Adana's heels slammed into the old woman's ribs. Dust jumped. The road went silent. The old woman lay in the dust. But she didn't cry. She didn't shout. A strange smile slowly appeared on her face. It wasn't a happy smile. It was a dangerous smile. She just looked at Adana. "You kicked me?" the old woman said, her voice no longer sounding weak. "You kicked a mother asking for water? You think because you are beautiful, you are a god?" "I am not a god. I am a queen. And you are a rag. Driver, move this log." My people, that was the kick that scattered Adana's destiny. It all started in the village of Umunede. It was a dusty but lively village, full of chickens running around and children playing with old tires. But in the middle of this humble village stood a house that looked out of place. It was painted a bright, screaming white with a gate big enough for a bank. This was Adana's father's house, recently renovated with the prince's money. Adana was beautiful. I will not lie to you. She was fine. When she walked to the stream, even the fish would jump out of the water just to look at her. Her skin was like fresh milk, and her eyes were bright like diamonds. But her heart, my people, her heart was black like the bottom of a burnt pot. She was the only daughter of Mazi Okeke. Mazi Okeke was a good man, a palm wine tapper who worked hard all his life. But Adana gave him high blood pressure because Adana was getting married to Prince Obinna, the only son of the king of the neighboring kingdom. Her head had swollen up. It was big like a pumpkin. It was the morning of the wedding. The sun was shining bright and the birds were singing the songs of celebration. But inside Adana's room, there was thunder and lightning. Adana was sitting in front of a large mirror, surrounded by imported perfumes and makeup kits. Two makeup artists were working on her face, sweating as they tried to please her. Suddenly, Adana screamed and pushed one of the artists' hand away. "Are you blind?" she shouted, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "Look at this eyebrow. One is going up to heaven to meet Jesus. The other one is going down to hell to dance with the devil. Is this what I paid you for? Do you want to disgrace me before the prince?" The makeup artist trembled, her brush shaking in her hand. "Sorry, my queen. I will fix it. Please, don't be angry." "Don't call me queen yet," Adana snapped. "I am not your mate. If you make a mistake again, I will slap that powder out of your hand. Useless girl." You see, this poor makeup artist had been standing for 3 hours, bending her back, but Adana did not offer her even a cup of water. Just then, the door creaked open and Adana's mother walked in. Mama Adana was an old woman, her hands rough from years of farming. She was wearing a faded wrapper, but she had a smile on her face that could light up the night. She was carrying a plate of hot yam and egg sauce, the steam rising in the air. "My daughter, Ada baby," she said softly, "please eat something. You have not eaten since yesterday. You will faint in the church, oh." You would expect a daughter to say, "Thank you, Mama," or "God bless you, Mama." But not Adana. Adana looked at the food, looked at her mother, and hissed. A long, disrespectful hiss that sounded like a snake in the grass. "Mama, take this nonsense away from here. she yelled. Yam? On my wedding day? Do you want my stomach to swell up in my wedding dress? You want me to look like a pregnant goat? Get out! Go and bring me imported fruit salad. I don't come in here with that smelling wrapper again. I told you to wear the lace the prince bought for you. Adanna's voice shook. Ada, I am keeping the lace for the church. I don't want to stain it. Please, just manage the yam. Adanna stood up in a rage and knocked the plate from her mother's hand. Crash! The ceramic plate shattered into pieces, and the egg sauce spilled all over the clean floor. I said, get out! You are irritating me. Look at you. You look like a maid. If the prince sees you like this before the church service, I will deny you. I will say you are the house girl. Can you imagine? A child pushing her own mother. A mother who carried her for 9 months. A mother who sold her best wrappers just to pay her school fees. The makeup artist looked away, pretending not to see, afraid that the anger would turn on her. But the gods of the land were watching and the ancestors were taking notes. Mama Adana wiped her eyes with the corner of her wrapper, bent down to pick up the broken pieces and whispered, Adana, remember that the rain does not fall on one roof alone. Be careful. Pride goes before a fall. Get out with your proverbs, Adana shouted back. I am marrying a prince. I cannot fall. I have arrived. She thought she had arrived. She did not know she was about to depart. Meanwhile, at the palace, Prince Obinna was not smiling. The palace was grand, filled with gold chairs and velvet curtains, but the atmosphere was tense. Prince Obinna was dressed in a sharp white suit, looking handsome but worried. He was pacing up and down the royal hallway. Why? Because his mother, the queen, was missing. Nobody had seen the queen for 2 days. The king was sick in bed, so the queen was the one handling everything. But suddenly, poof, she had vanished into thin air. The best man, Emeka, tried to confront him. Prince, calm down. Maybe she went to the mountain to pray for the wedding. You know how mothers are. She probably wants extra blessings for you. No, Emeka, the prince said, shaking his head. My mother will not miss this morning. She was supposed to bless the rings. I feel something is wrong. And Adana does not even care. When I told her my mother was missing, do you know what she said? She said, don't worry, as long as the cake is ready, we are fine. Ha! Emeka's eyes widened. She said that? Maybe she was just nervous. I hope so, Emeka, the prince sighed. I really hope so. Because sometimes I think Adana loves my money more than she loves me. The prince was beginning to see clearly, but it was too late to cancel. Guests were already at the church. The bishops were waiting. The whole village was waiting to eat rice and stew. Back at the village, Adana was finally dressed. She stepped out of the house and she looked stunning. Her gown was huge, full of stones and glitter that caught the sunlight. She wore like a peacock, spreading its feathers. The villagers gathered outside screamed, Our wife, the queen! But Adana did not wave. She did not smile. She just adjusted her dark sunglasses and walked towards the car. Her father, Mazi Okeke, was waiting by the car. A long white limousine rented from the city. He rushed to open the door for her. My daughter, you look beautiful, he said, beaming with pride. May the gods of our land bless your home. Papa, move back! Adana snapped, pulling her dress away. Your hands are dirty. Don't touch the white door. Where is the driver? I just wanted to pray for you, Mazi Okeke stammered. Pray for yourself, she interrupted. Look at your shoes, dusty. Did you not polish them? Please, when we get to the church, don't stand near me in the photos. Stand at the back with the villagers. She entered the limousine. Her chief bridesmaid, a quiet girl named Chioma, entered too. The driver started the engine and the car began to glide towards the church. The road to the church passed through a thick forest. It was a lonely road, surrounded by tall trees and bush, but it was the shortest way to the city. As they were driving, Adana was happy. She was calculating all the money people would spray on her. Chioma, she commanded, make sure you hold the bag tight. Any dollar note that touches the floor, pick it up. I don't want these villagers stealing my money. Yes, Adana, I hear you, Chioma replied softly. Suddenly, the driver slammed on the brakes. The tires squealed against the dirt, and the long car skidded to a halt, throwing Adana forward. Are you mad? Adana yelled, fixing her wig. Do you want to kill me? What is wrong with you? Come on, driver. Madam, sorry, the driver said, pointing ahead. Look, there is someone blocking the road. A log of wood is on the road, and an old woman is sitting on it. Adana looked out the windshield. Through the blocking, the path was a dirty old woman in rags. Her hair was scattered like a bird's nest. She had sores on her legs. She was sitting on a log, coughing. Adana's anger rose like a fire. They were already late for the church. Honk the horn! Frighten her away, she ordered. The driver honked. But the old woman did not move. She just sat there looking tired. This old witch wants to spoil my day, Adana hissed. Open the door. Adana, wait, Chioma said nervously. Let the driver go and talk to her. No, the driver is too slow. I will handle this myself. Listen carefully. This is the moment where destiny changed. This is the junction between blessing and cursing. Adana opened the door. She stepped out with her expensive white wedding shoes into the dust. She walked up to the old woman. The sun was hot, beating down on the red earth. You, are you mad? Are you blind? Adana shouted, her hands on her hips. Can't you see this is a wedding convoy? Get up and move your smelly body out of the road. The old woman looked up. Her eyes were red, and her lips were cracked and dry. She held out a small dirty calabash with trembling hands. My daughter, please, water. The woman rasped, her voice weak. Just a little water. I have been walking for 3 days. I am dying of thirst. Help me, and God will bless your marriage. Now ask yourself. You are in a limousine. You have coolers of water, juice, malt, and champagne in the car. What does it cost you to give a dying woman 1 bottle of water? Nothing. It costs you nothing. But wickedness covers the eyes of the proud. Adana looked at the calabash. She looked at the woman's sores. She felt nothing but disgust. Water? You want my expensive bottled water? God forbid. Bad luck. You are bad luck. On my wedding day, the first thing I see is a beggar. To see aqua. Please, just a sip, the woman begged. I said get out. Adana did the unthinkable. She lifted her leg covered in expensive white lace and custom shoes, and she kicked the calabash out of the old woman's hand. The calabash flew into the bush. The old woman fell back into the dust, clutching her chest. Adana didn't stop there. She spat on the ground near the woman. If I count to 3 and you are still here, I will tell my driver to run over you. Witch! The driver and Chioma ran out, scared. They dragged the log away quickly. The driver tried to whisper a sorry to the old woman, but Adana screamed at him to get back in the car. As Adana turned to walk back to the limousine, the woman spoke one last time. Her voice sounded like the wind blowing through a deep cave. Go to your wedding, but listen to me. The beauty that makes you proud will become your shame. As you kicked me with your leg, so shall you kick your blessing away. Before you say I do, the world will see the animal that lives inside your heart. Adana laughed. The curse of a beggar does not reach the sky. Go and die. She slammed the car door. It drove off, leaving the old woman in the dust. Adana reapplied her lipstick in the mirror. She forgot about the woman in 2 minutes, but the village spirits did not forget. They arrived at the church. The bells were ringing loudly. The church was packed. fans were blowing and the choir was singing "To God be the glory." The atmosphere was electric. The prince was standing at the altar, checking his watch, looking nervous. Everyone stood up. As Adana walked in, she looked perfect. The organ played, "Here comes the bride." Step by step, she walked down the aisle. Her father walked beside her, but she kept elbowing him to give her space, whispering for him to stop stepping on her train. She reached the altar. The prince smiled at her, relief washing over his face. He whispered, "You look beautiful." "I know," Adana replied. That was her only answer. "I know." The priest started the service. It was a long service. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here." 10 minutes passed. Suddenly, Adana felt something. It started on her back. A small itch. She tried to ignore it. She wiggled her shoulders slightly. "Are you okay?" the prince whispered. "Yes," she hissed. "It's just this tag on the dress. It's biting me." But it was not a tag. It was fire. The itch moved from her back to her neck, then to her arms, then to her legs. The same legs she used to kick the old woman. It felt like 1,000 soldier ants were marching under her skin. "Fire! Pepper!" She tried to be classy. She rubbed her arm gently, but the itch was aggressive. It was demanding attention. The prince looked at them. "Do you, Prince Obinna, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "I do," the prince said clearly. "And do you, Adana Okeke, take this man?" Adana opened her mouth to say "I do." But instead of words, a sound came out. A sound that made the whole church go silent. It sounded like a goat. The prince looked at her in shock. The priest adjusted his glasses, confused. Adana tried again, panic filling her eyes. Then the heat took over. She couldn't hold it anymore. Adana dropped her expensive bouquet of flowers. She started scratching. Not rubbing, scratching. She used her long, expensive nails to tear at her skin. "Ah, my body! Fire! Fire!" she screamed. She fell to the floor. The beautiful white dress became a trap. She rolled on the altar, right in front of the cross. She was screaming and scratching like a mad person. And then the smell. A smell like a rotting gutter filled the church. It was thick and heavy. It came from the bride. It was so strong that the little flower girl in front row fainted. People in the front pews covered their noses and gagged. "Jesus, what is this smell? Is it a dead rat?" one girl shouted. "It is the bride, oh, look at her skin," another screamed. Adana's skin was breaking out in huge red boils instantly. Her wig fell off as she rolled, revealing her natural hair, which was suddenly full of lice. "Help me! Water! Water! I'm burning!" Adana cried. "Water!" she cried. The same water she denied the old woman. Her father rushed to help her, but the smell pushed him back. The prince stood there, frozen. He didn't know what to do. Was this his bride? The most beautiful girl in the village? Now looking like a mad woman in the market? Suddenly, the church door slammed open. Bang! A strong wind blew into the church, extinguishing the candles. Everyone turned to look. Walking down the aisle was the old woman. She was still in rags. She still looked dirty, but she walked with a power that made the ground shake. She held a wooden staff in her hand. The guards rushed forward. "Hey, get out! Mad woman! Who let you in?" But the prince saw her. He squinted his eyes. He recognized the walk. He recognized the eyes. "Wait! Don't touch her!" the prince shouted. He ran down from the altar, past his scratching bride. He ran to the beggar. He fell on his knees in front of her. "Mama! Mother! Is it you?" The old church gasped. "Ha! The queen?" Yes, the beggar was the queen. She removed the dirty scarf from her head. She wiped the charcoal from her face. It was Queen Inyoma, the mother of the prince. She looked at her son. Then she looked at Adanna, who was still rolling on the floor, scratching and crying. "Yes, my son, it is me," she said calmly. "But why, Mama? Why are you dressed like this? We have been looking for you," the prince asked, confused. "I wanted to know who my son was marrying," the queen said, her voice loud and authoritative, echoing off the walls. "People told me she was beautiful. People told me she was educated. But I wanted to know her heart. So I disguised myself. I sat on the road. I begged for water." He walked slowly towards Adana. Adana stopped rolling. She looked up through her swollen eyes and saw the woman she had kicked. Fear gripped her throat like a cold hand. "Adana," the queen called out, "you kicked me. You called me a witch. You said I was bad luck. You will not give water to a dying woman because you wanted to save your expensive shoes." "Please, my queen," Adana cried, crawling on her knees. "I didn't know. I didn't know it was you. Please forgive me." "You didn't know it was me?" the queen asked. "Does it matter? Does it mean you can treat a poor person like trash? If I was truly a beggar, would you have cared? No. You only respect people who have money. You have a beast inside you, and today, that beast has come out for everyone to see." The prince looked at Adana with disgust. He remembered how she treated the servants. He remembered how she spoke to her parents. It all made sense now. "Adana," the prince said, his voice cold, "is this true? You kicked my mother?" "Honey, it was a mistake. It was stress. I love you," Adana pleaded, trying to grab his leg. "You don't love me," the prince said, stepping back. "You love the crown. You love the money. If you can kick a beggar, you will poison me one day if I become poor." The prince took off his ring. He threw it on the floor. It bounced and landed near Adana's sores. "The wedding is cancelled. I cannot marry a woman without a soul." The church erupted. "Hey, see Disgrace. Disgrace of the century. Karma is real," Adana screamed. "No! My wedding! My reputation!" But the itching got worse. She started tearing her wedding dress apart, ripping the lace. She ran out of the church, screaming like a wild animal, running into the bush to find relief. "Leave her," the queen commanded the guards. "Let the rain wash her until she learns humility, as king will never know peace." Adana did not stay mad forever. No, the queen was merciful. After 1 month of suffering in the village, sleeping outside and feeling the pain she had caused others, Adana went to the palace gate. She didn't wear shoes. She didn't wear a wig. She knelt in the rain for 3 days. The queen finally came out and poured water on her, the water of forgiveness. The sickness vanished. But the prince, he had already moved on. He married Chioma, the quiet bridesmaid who had tried to help the old woman that day. Adana learned her lesson, but she learned it the hard way. Today, she sells tomatoes in the market. She is humble. If you ask her for water, she will give you the whole bucket. But she is no longer a queen. She is just Adana. What is the lesson here? Do not look down on anybody unless you are helping them up. The person you kick on your way up might be the person you need on your way down. Be kind to strangers. Be kind to the poor. Because you never know. You might be entertaining an angel or your future mother-in-law unawares. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button. Subscribe to African Wealth Warriors Tales for more stories that will teach you wisdom. Until next time, remember, character is the only beauty that never fades. Bye bye.